Welcome to One Training, where we provide health and fitness content to help you achieve your goals. Choose the fitness course Professional Athletes Trust. Click the link in the comments to learn more.
So to get started, obviously, I completed a couple of degrees back home. I did a Bachelor of Exercise Physiology at University of New South Wales, straight out of high school, and then a couple of years later did a Masters of High Performance Sport through Australian Catholic University. The hardest thing to get into the pro setting is to try and get your foot in the door, and thanks to Chris, actually spending a bit of time at the West Tigers early on. I think it was about 2010, 2009, as a strength conditioning sports science intern, and just sort of hung around the club, working through the junior reps, and was lucky enough to eventually move into a more like a paid position then with the Dragons for a season in 2015, and then made the jump into the NBL and worked in a private facility during the same time. And then it was through mutual connections I met through my university degree, my master's degree, that I'd made some connections here in the States, and was offered a position to come work with the Magic in 2018. So in 10, 12 years, like, that's it in a nutshell. But it's throwing yourself out there and immersing yourself in the environment that you want to work in, and being persistent with it. There's a lot of setbacks, and you're going to get a lot of no's, like you do in any career and anything you're passionate about. But if you're persistent with it and you stay goal oriented, then you generally come away with a win and get to where you want to get to. Yep. So journey started here with the Magic in 2018, and I came over originally as the performance rehab coach, where my job was essentially the middleman between strength and conditioning and then early acute rehab. So taking return to play and anyone who was in the rehab group essentially, and then serving as an assistant strength conditioning coach. And just with the staff structure and how things evolve, like my job has evolved every year, even with the same job title. And then with staff changes after the sort of 1.5, 2 seasons, I was promoted to the position of head strength coach here. And day to day at the moment, my role isn't so much about the hard programming in the weight room. It's more about the on-court prescription, especially with the rehab guys. I still take the strength sessions when we have them, but with the skill sets that our staff possesses, and like our staff is very big. I'm one of 11 full time for a roster of 15 full time, and then two two-way players. It's almost a 1-to-1 staff to player ratio, which makes things a little bit easier. So there's 3 on the S&C and performance side, and then there's a larger portion on the medical side. But my main responsibility is to look after the on-court prescription and return to play programming for those guys, and then taking care of the conditioning side of things for our low minute players, and our other strength coach primarily oversees the weight room side of things. But we're that tight knit, and we collaborate every day, and he can take the court stuff and I can take the strength stuff. That's what we're more suited towards. And I've got no doubt that as things continue to evolve and change, what I do next year is probably going to be a bit different to what I do now as well. And I've taken the journey of going through 2 university degrees to get here, but to be honest, a lot of what I've learnt over that time, not that I don't apply, but so much of it you learn when you're ingrained into it. So you really need to throw yourself in and be comfortable being uncomfortable, and show vulnerability. And if you're not sure of something, or if you have a question about how can I change this and how could I improve it, don't be afraid to ask it, because generally within the strength and conditioning field especially, like, it's very much a coffee and a beer culture. So if you've got a question and want to have a chat with a coach or someone else who's thinking about getting into the field or who is in the field, guarantee that if you reached out through social media or phone call, whatever, and said, hey, can you want to grab a coffee and have a chat, or grab a beer overnight and have a chat about your journey and how you got to where you are and your philosophy on training, then I'm pretty sure that you're going to get a yes, not a no. And I'd advise anyone who's considering getting into this side of things to take that opportunity and reach out to old coaches or to even people within your own organisation right now and ask about their journey and their education and where they've got and how they've gotten to where they are now.